There is a stretch of land in northwest Arkansas where, on most days, you can stand still for a long time and not hear another person. It is a battlefield, or it was, once. Now it is a park. We arrived in the morning in an EV, which felt strange in a place built around horses and wagons, and a dirt road that used to be the only way through. The visitor center has been updated since the last time I came. Cleaner, quieter. There is a small theater near the back, and we walked in just as the orientation film was starting, the kind of timing you cannot plan for. In March of 1862, two armies met here, about 26,000 men all told. They fought over a 20-foot wide dirt road that had already lived several lives by the time the war reached it. It was first cut in the 1820s to connect St. Louis to Fort Smith. In the 1830s, the federal government marched the Cherokee, Creek, Seminole, Chickasaw, and Choctaw nations down it, the northern route of the Trail of Tears. Later it carried the Butterfield Overland stagecoach. By the time of the battle, it had a name that fit, the Wire Road, or the Telegraph Road. The road was the reason both armies wanted this ground. 7,000 Confederate troops were marching along Ford Road when 600 Iowa cavalrymen came out of the tree line. Neither side expected a fight here. 3 Union cannon were unlimbered and fired into the formation, and within minutes, 3,000 cavalrymen from Texas and Arkansas swept over a wheat field with war whoops, and the Federals broke and ran back through the trees. 2 regiments of Cherokee riflemen fought in that charge. 4 months later, some of those same men changed sides and fought for the Union. The loyalties of the 5 nations were torn down the middle, partly because the federal government had abandoned its army posts in their territory and stopped paying treaty money. It is a quiet wheat field now. Just south of here, in the cornfield, the Confederate general in charge of this half of the army rode out alone to scout the tree line. His name was Ben McCulloch. He had been a Texas Ranger, and he wore a black velvet suit instead of a uniform, which made him easy to see. Union skirmishers behind a rail fence shot him. His second in command rode out to lead the charge, and was killed not 200 yards from the same spot. For more than an hour, no one on the Confederate side knew either man was dead. The momentum was lost in that silence. There used to be a small village here called Leetown, a dozen log and frame houses. The fighting in the cornfield and in Morgan's Woods was close enough that stretcher bearers carried the wounded from both armies into Leetown for shelter from the winter weather. They hung yellow flags from the gables of every house so the walking wounded could find their way. There is nothing left of it now. No structure, not even a foundation, just trees and a quarter-mile trail. I have been coming to this park since I was a kid. The memory I keep coming back to is the time my dad and my older brother and I rode the 7-mile loop on bicycles. There is a hill on that loop. Anyone who has biked it knows the one. And the first few times I tried, I had to get off and push my bike up. This time, I was older. I made it to the top without stopping. My dad said he was proud of me. We sat at the top with Gatorade and Nutty Buddies and looked across the open fields. That is what the park was to me then. A hill I finally made it up. A snack at the top. My dad saying he was proud. As an adult, I read the placards and I think about what actually happened on this ground. 26,000 men. Generals dying in cornfields. A village full of wounded men under yellow flags. Cherokee soldiers on both sides of the same war. And then I look up, and there is a buzzard on top of the roof of a lookout station. And the road is empty, and there is no one in earshot. Every time I come back as an adult, I feel like I see a Civil War soldier walk behind a tree, just at the edge where I'm looking. I cannot tell if it is real, or if I want ghosts to be real. I think it might be both. Here is the Jem Score for Pea Ridge Military Park. Noise level. How quiet is it? Can you think clearly here? Wind, birds, the occasional rustle of dry grass. The loop road has almost no traffic. The park is large enough that even on a busy day, the crowds disperse and you end up in your own pocket of quiet. I have stood at placards here and heard nothing but my own breathing. For noise level, it gets a 5 out of 5. Lighting, soft and warm or harsh and bright. Soft natural light through the fields, cool, dim quiet under the wooded sections. The visitor center has been updated and feels calm. No aggressive lighting, no oversaturated displays. Even the orientation of film plays in a small, dim theater. The whole park reads gentle. For lighting, it gets 5 out of 5. Crowd density. How easy is it to find personal space? This is open country. Big sky, fields that go on, sight lines you can lose yourself in. The pull-offs along the loop are spaced far enough apart that you can stand at any one of them and not have another person within 100 yards of you. Some of them much farther. For crowd density, it gets 5 out of 5. Social pressure. Are you expected to interact? Can you just exist? You can drive the 7-mile loop and stop only where you want. There is no schedule, no tours unless you sign up for one. No one is going to ask you to participate in anything. You can be there for 40 minutes or 4 hours. One point out, and this is small, because someone did strike up a conversation with us at one point and asked us if we wanted to come to his church. It was not a damper on the trip. It is the kind of thing that can happen anywhere, but it is worth being honest about. You are still in a public place, and public places sometimes come with public place encounters. For social pressure, it gets 4 out of 5. Solo friendliness. How is the seating, layout, and general vibe for going alone? Visiting alone feels completely normal here. There is no group seating, no table service, no setup that assumes you came with people. The placards are designed for one person at a time. The pace of the loop is yours. Nobody is waiting on you, and you are not waiting on anyone. For solo friendliness, it gets 5 out of 5. So the Jem Score for the Pea Ridge Military Park is 4 out of 5. Pea Ridge is one of the quietest, easiest places I have come back to. The history is heavy, and the ground holds it. But the park itself, the way it has been maintained, the way it makes room for you to think, is one of the most considerate places I know in Northwest Arkansas. If you are an introvert, and you want somewhere to walk, read, drive a slow loop, and not be asked anything of, this is the place. I will come back. I always do.